Welcome to A.U.M. Ask Us Marketing. I'm your host, Callie Fedusenko of Callie Collective. Callie Collective is a digital marketing agency focused on building relationships between financial advisors and their target audience using data to create websites, online content, and ads. We build relationships first and we grow numbers second. If that's an approach that resonates with you, then sign up to get our emails for some helpful tips you can apply to your marketing, or visit our site to learn more about us. Our episode today is brought to you by the Financial Planning Association, otherwise known as the FPA. FPA is a great resource center providing education, support, and networking opportunities for financial advisors like you. And they've got a retreat coming up in Chicago, which I highly recommend. It's a very small conference that really allows you to get to know the other attendees and even the speakers at each of the sessions. So today, let's shed some light, literally, on how to make your videos look professional. Joining us today is the very talented and very handsome Michelob Fedusenko. Michelob has worked behind the scenes on everything from movies to music videos for Garth Brooks to commercials for the Tennessee Titans. And today, he'll be bringing Hollywood insights to your home office, showing you how to light like a pro, even if your studio is a corner of your living room, like me. If your video content looks a little dim, this is your spotlight moment. So welcome with me, Michelob Fedusenko.
Hey, thank you. That's nice. Thank you.
Welcome, Michelob. Look how bright you are already. It's very sunny. I'm just gonna jump right into it.
Okay.
So let's talk about why lighting matters. Most people focus on their camera, but why is lighting often the real game changer in video quality?
Just like your location, lighting sets the tone and the mood of what you're talking about. Um, if we look at the differences between you and me, I have very flat, bright lighting. You have more dramatic and serious lighting. It changes how people listen.
Mm.
So I'm very presentational, but you're here to tell us the news.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's almost like we're married or something, because that just set me up for the next question, which is let's talk about how lighting can help create or maintain a brand. How does different lighting convey different messages to the audience?
Well, again, look at the difference in our lighting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here to present a tutorial, pretty much. You present, you do interviews with people and you extract their knowledge and share it with everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
And so our goals are a little different. And that shows in the lighting. Suddenly we know, okay, you're the interviewer because look at your setup. You have heft behind you. And I think that when you just chime into a video, you see that difference. You see the relationship that we both have with our lighting, with what we're doing. And so now you're able to, without saying anything, tell more.
Mm-hmm. What are some different lighting tones? Like, let's say, what would convey dramatic feeling? What kind of lighting would that be?
Dramatic. Having color, having more shape into your lighting. So for you see how your lighting is coming from above-ish, and it shapes your face very well. You can see the highlights here. You can see the shadows of your cheekbones, and it shows your contours very well. What was your question again?
How would you convey dramatic lighting?
Dramatic doesn't show everything, it shows what's needed.
Mm.
While on the flip side, presentational lighting or high key lighting shows everything. We're not trying to hide anything. Um, it's I look good here. I look good here.
Mm.
You can see what's in behind me. It's all just it's very clear.
I may be frozen, so
Oh,
just give it a second. I'll be back.
thank you, Derek.
Okay. Looks like I'm still here.
Mhm.
Great. Let's talk about some of the biggest lighting missteps. Like, what mistakes do you see in do-it-yourself setups, and how can they be avoided?
The biggest mistakes that I see are not going all the way with your lighting. It doesn't mean you have to go big, but being complete with your setup. So you don't want to just use a single light.
Mm.
What happens when you use a single light? This doesn't look so great.
Mm.
Um, I just turned off my fill light. I have a key light right here. You can't see my finger. I have a key light right here. I have a fill light right here. Key is your main light. Your fill light is what brings in the shadows. So I'm going to bring it up a little bit more. And then I also have a backlight. It helps separate me just a little bit from my background.
Mm.
And that's what's called a basic 3 light setup.
Okay.
And so where I see other mistakes, not going all the way in, not doing it, not committing to your lighting, is having multiple color temperatures in
Mm.
your background that aren't consistent. You want to have a certain consistency. It doesn't mean that the lighting that you're using for yourself needs to all be one color temperature. But if you see something in the background, remember, when you're driving at night and you look at people's houses and you see a warm light over here and then a cool light over here, and you can just see the difference, and it's not consistent.
Mm.
That's what color temperature is. And when you have that in your background, it looks like you don't really care. Most
Mm.
people probably won't notice it, but it's a subconscious thing. There's a consistency,
Okay. Okay.
and you want to be consistent. You want to be and you want to be complete.
What kind of color should we be going for? Should we be doing cool light or warm light? Is there a message behind that? Or are you deciding based on skin tone?
Yeah, well, it all matters about what you're trying to do. It matters with what your skin tone is, what your background might be. Here, I have a lot of cool white lights, so a little blue, but I'm accenting it over here with my backlight with a warm light, so it adds a little bit of warmth to the sterility. Now, I say that it matters about like what you're trying to do. The webcam that I have, I don't have white balance control over it. So what's going to happen is my predominant light source is cool.
Mm.
It's going to white balance automatically to that. So this looks like just regular flat white light, while the warmer light is what adds a little bit of color, just a touch of pop.
Okay. And we just had a question. What is the best position for a backlight?
Uh, the best position is, in my instance, the position I could get to. Sometimes you don't really have an option, and so you just work with what you got. In fact, a lot of weird things that you might see in movies is simply because there wasn't a better option. But
Mm.
if you can get it mostly behind you, maybe over your right shoulder, I'm kind of pointing up over right here is my left shoulder, the fill side, the shadow side that you fill in with your extra light. You
Okay.
can go up and over your shoulder so it hits you back here, hits you right here.
Mm.
That's the best. I didn't have that. I don't have the room for that. So I compromise with coming off to the side a little bit.
Um, do you have the option of turning off your backlight just so we can see the difference?
Boop.
Okay, yeah, that makes a big difference. It makes it look like you're more mm,
It looks like I just have a light
yeah,
right here,
yeah.
like maybe a lamp. But let me go ahead and turn off the fill light. And so this is a one light setup.
Okay.
This is a two light setup, and you see how it fills my face. I'm easily seen, but you
Mhm.
can still see a little bit of shape here. You can see a
Mm.
little bit of shape here and on my forehead. Um, this fill light is not as bright as my key light,
Mhm.
and that allows control of how the shape is presented on the camera. And
Mm.
then you add the backlight. Wait for it to boot up it real quick. And now I'm separated from the background.
Yeah. Yeah, that made a huge difference. That was really cool. Um, what about okay, I've actually had this question several times from people.
Mhm.
What about glasses? How do you not get glare?
Uh, I got some shades. I thought you were gonna ask this question. I got some shades. This is how cool I look on set. I don't look cool at all. Um, Actually, if you see us on set with shades on, it's so that we don't make eye contact with the talent,
That's
because
interesting.
they'll glance over at us, and you can see that on the lens when you're
Oh,
watching TV.
huh.
So you got glare. All right, you see the lights, light here, and down here are my computer
Yeah.
monitors. I can't really do much about my computer monitors because my camera's right in front of it. But to get rid of these light sources up top in the
Mhm.
reflection, I just tip it down just a little bit. The back of my frame goes up and the lenses go down just a little bit. You can do that
Mm,
with pictures in your background. A lot of
mm,
times I'll hear a that the camera can see a reflection in a picture,
mm,
and no one even has to ask me. I just grab some tape, wad it up, and put it behind it just to change the angle of that glass so we no longer see it.
mm.
They're very quick, cheap, easy fixes.
You referenced this earlier about your limited space. What are some tricks for lighting when you're in a limited space?
Um, Tricks to for limited space. There's you can actually make this work to your benefit.
Mhm,
Um, so the way light falls off is the square law. For every time you double your distance,
mhm.
the light halves its output.
Okay.
So if I'm right now, I'm what 3 feet away from my lights right now. My face looks huge right now, doesn't it? If I were to move back, do you see how that light changes? How the
Mhm,
intensity is just so much less.
mhm,
Um, I'm using that to my benefit because this light is directly hitting my background and it's
mm,
bringing the background up. And so if I can come in closer, then what happens is my camera is with its auto exposure. Unfortunately, that's what I have. Uh, is going to expose for my face, but the background, since it is 2 times darker ish, maybe two
mhm,
and a half times darker, it's going to it's going to be separate from me, so you're able to see me much more easily.
um,
So
mhm,
that's one easy way that you can utilize your a small space. Another way that you can exaggerate the space that you're in
mhm,
is pull wherever you're doing your call, your Zoom video, away from the wall.
mm,
Again, for the same purpose.
mhm,
One, it lets you separate yourself in the background. Two, it will make the space that you're in seem bigger
mm.
because no one knows what's on the other side of the camera. It
Right.
could it could be a whole hall.
Yeah.
It could be anything. It doesn't matter what's on the other side of the camera. What matters is what the camera sees.
Mm.
So two tricks.
What?
So two tricks you got right there.
Love it. Always love a trick.
My
Um,
industry is the one industry where cheating is encouraged. That's what we call cheating.
what about lighting on a budget? What are some simple, affordable lighting tips that advisors can use right away to level up their video?
The easiest thing you can do is move your desk near a window
Mhm.
or wherever you're doing your call. I'm saying desk, but it can be whatever you're using. Um, Move close to a window and close your curtain shears. Those shears are going to take the direct sunlight or the ambient sunlight and soften that. It's going to create less sharp shadows on your face. It's going to wrap your face more evenly, and it's going to be a more pleasant light.
Okay.
Um, you are subject to the conditions of outside. So if a cloud comes over, that's directly going to affect your video. The light levels will go down, and if you have my webcam, it'll adjust. But that's a very quick way of doing it.
And
Right
I know
now,
something we've run
I
into in the past is you also have to be careful about reflection because sometimes when I open my curtain when it's a nice day, I'll have a green look on my face because the light reflecting off of the green grass. Is there
Mhm.
anything, I mean, I guess the curtain would help with that, but is there anything that would help get rid of, you know, color pollution?
Color collusion, is that what you called
Yeah.
it? um, yeah, that's something that we fight with a lot on set.
Mm,
You can actually see it here right now. The window that's right, the light that's hitting me right here, it's a
mhm,
little different color than the light that's right here. That's because
mm,
I have a window and I've got green grass. I've got a big truck outside, and
yeah.
that's all reflecting through this window that has some clean diffusion on it.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, you have a little color collusion going on right here. It's color gate.
Yeah.
Um, you do what you can. So here, I just left it. Uh,
Mhm,
I could have gone ahead and closed the curtain. I don't have a curtain right there.
mhm,
You could just go ahead and put up just a little, maybe if you're on a super budget and you have nothing available to you, you can put a towel across the window to just block that light.
mm,
They have you can go online to Amazon, buy some gels, color correction gels. If you have green, then you'll want a color like magenta.
okay.
Something light probably will do the trick.
So
Uh,
something opposite on the color wheel?
yeah, opposite of green is magenta. Opposite of like tungsten light, the warm light would be a cool light.
Mhm.
Um, so if you have,
And just to be clear, what a gel is, that's like kinda like a plastic, right?
it's a plastic film that has color in it. You can get the same thing that doesn't have color but has diffusion on it to do the same thing, but make your light source larger.
Mm, okay. Uh, I had a question that I was going to ask you, as you were talking that I forgot about.
Thank you.
Okay. So let's talk about some affordable lighting tips. I know that you talked about a window.
Mhm.
Um, what about if I'm looking for lights? Is it worth investing in a light if I'm not doing 3 lights?
If you're not doing what lights?
The 3-point lighting system.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Most lights that you can find right now, whether you're on Amazon, B&H, or you're going to some of the industry standard lights,
Yeah.
um, most lights are going to be fine. What you're going to want to look for is a white light source. RGB is useful, but
Mhm.
what you really want is something that's going to give you good, clean light. So a bicolor light is what you're really aiming for. Anything extra is great, but white light, bicolor light, cool white, warm light, that's what you're wanting to get. The second thing that you want to look for is something that you can control easily. So one of the lights that I'm using is how do you see this? Is this guy right here? It's made by Newer. It's a bar light.
Okay.
And I have a little screw hole back here where I'm able to mount it up right there. It's my fill light. And so while I can control it right here, it's going to blind me here in a second. I can control it right here. I can also control it with a remote. And being able to sit in front of the camera, looking at what the camera sees and control what the light does right here makes a huge difference in being able to set up quickly, which means you can consistently set your lights up if you're doing a video once a week, if you're doing a video once a day. You don't want to get something that's going to frustrate you beyond using it when you're investing money in your brand, because lighting is part of your branding.
Yeah.
You want something that's easy to use. So those are the two things I recommend. Is you don't have to find something expensive. You just want to find something that is a clean light and something that's easy to control while you're sitting in front of your computer.
Okay. What about a ring light? I know those are very popular. Do you recommend using them? Or maybe I should say, what are the pros and cons of a ring light?
Okay, so ring lights are very unique. They have a very unique look. I call it the Listerine look, the Scope commercials. You remember? They really fill in all the shadows, so you don't really get so much shape. It's just a ring of light that just fills in your entire face. You lose that shape, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. What can be distracting though is your eyes. Your eyes are showing reflections. You see that there's a little glimmer from this light right here, and you see another glimmer from that light right there.
Yeah.
With a ring light, that light is dead center on you, and so you're going to have these white halos in your eye. It's a very clean, clinical look. If that's what you're going for, by all means, use it. Use it. But it can be distracting. I don't know for typical interview setups if that's what you want to do for a typical Zoom call when you're in a meeting. I don't know if that's what you want to do, but if that's a look you're going for, it's a fantastic tool. Sometimes we use them on set.
Now we talked about the glare of glasses, but as I was sitting here, I was like, what about the shadow? Because is there a way to get rid of the shadow of the frame of your glasses?
This is where we get into more advanced lighting.
Okay.
So the smaller your light source is, meaning, let's just say, let me turn this off so we can easily see it. Let's say this is your light source. I'm going to back up a little bit. This is your light source. Your light source is right here, 1.5 feet big.
Yeah.
If your light source is only this large, that means the light has to, it can't wrap around you as much.
Okay.
And that's what you want to get. That's what you want to use to get rid of those shadows. You want your light to wrap around the frame, so it hits it from
a big
this
light
angle.
source is needed. So a bigger light source is needed.
Yes, and you can do that with small lights. In fact, that's the way we did it for probably 60 years. We would put a frame in front of that light that is big. My my fill light just went out. You want to put a bit of diffusion in front of it so that your light source that's this big can become this big.
Okay.
In doing so, it allows the light to wrap around that frame to fill in the shadows.
That reminds me, there's this video of somebody and they're holding a towel up against the mirror and they're like, I can't see my reflection, but then the camera to the side can see the person. And they're like, how does this work? And then the explanation is
Yes.
which it sounds like here. Sounds like that's the same principle used for the
Yes, it's
larger light
billiards.
source.
It's a pool table. Exactly. That's all this is knowing if you can play pool. If you don't even have to, I'm not even good at pool, but I understand how it works, and so I can use the same ideas for lighting.
Yeah.
I'm
How
really
to
bad at
bounce it
pool.
around. What?
I'm really bad at pool.
Okay, anything that you would like to, any tips you'd like to leave the audience with as they go to record themselves?
Experiment. Don't take it too seriously. I know, like when I was setting this up, because I've been doing this for too long. I have a high standard for myself, um, but don't take it too seriously, because you want to do a good job, but you want to also be able to consistently do it. As you go on, you'll find what works better and what doesn't work so well, and that's part of the process. I definitely don't like the same way I did 15 years ago. Just experiment, grow with it, make your setups easy. Don't overthink it. It's 3 points of lighting. Oh, it came back on. It's 3 points of lighting, and now it's too bright. It's 3 points of lighting. You saw how easy that was. That's the other tip. Make it easy. Something like that just happens. I can fix it without getting up. Um, Again, easy. So it's not going to be perfect the first time around.
Yeah.
My lighting setup wasn't perfect. You just saw that.
Right,
It's okay.
I like it. That's a theme that we hear often is to just get started. So just get started with the lighting and experiment as you go. I like that. That's a great tip to end on.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. It was a pleasure. And if you are joining us, thank you for joining us. You can take this quiz from the QR code below, find out what your marketing score is, and then join us next week as we talk to Nicole Kramer on how to nail the sale. She's got some great sales tips. She's a returning guest because her last episode was so well received. So I'm very excited to have her back. And until then, have a great week and happy April starting tomorrow.